Welcome everyone to our channel. Now I'm going to talk about some hot news in today. US polls show growing worries about coronavirus. Drop in confidence in government. Some 60% of Americans are now very or somewhat worried they or a family member will be exposed to the coronavirus, up from 36% in February. While confidence in the government's ability to respond has fallen sharply, a new poll showed. The Gallup poll was conducted on March 2 to 13, shortly after the first positive case of the fast-spreading virus was reported in the United States, and came as the administration of President Donald Trump accelerates its response to the pandemic. 61% of Americans are very or somewhat confident in the U.S. government's ability to respond, a drop of 16 from February, the poll showed. Trump, after initially doubling the risk of the outbreak, last week declared a national emergency and on Monday urged Americans to avoid gatherings of more than 10 people and hold more social activity for 15 days to halt the spread of the disease. The move came as financial markets slumped despite a second emergency rate cut by the Federal Reserve, and Trump warned the U.S. economy could slip into recession as the returns of the virus. The Gallup poll showed increased worry about the outbreak among all major subgroups, surpassing that seen during private health scares such as SARS, West Nile virus, and anthrax. It says the results started significant partisan divide among those polled, with 73% of Democrats the most worried of any group, compared to just 42% of Republicans. Only 43% of Democrats were very or somewhat confident in the U.S. government's ability to respond, down from 75% in February. By contrast, 85% of Republicans were very or somewhat confident, a 1 percentage point drop from the earlier poll. Over 85% of Americans now believe the coronavirus will have a very or somewhat negative impact on the global economy, up from 65% in the previous poll, Gallup said. Lockdowns and entry bans imposed throughout the world to fight coronavirus. France has banned June Italy in imposing lockdowns on tens of millions of people. Australia ordered self-isolation of arriving foreigners, and other countries extended entry bans that the world showed to the content the spreading coronavirus. Panic buying in Australia. The United States and British leaders appear for came over the virus that has affected over 156,000 people globally and killed more than 5,800. Several countries impose bans on mass gathering, shorter sporting, cultural and religious events, while medical exhibits allow people to practice social distancing to curb the spread. Australia essentially used people to self-isolate and announced ban on gathering of more than 5 people and further limits on who can enter the country. All above forensic after survive next month will be held without the full attending, the Vatican said on Sunday, in a state believed to be unprecedented in modern times. The service, 4 days of major event from Holy Thursday to Easter Sunday, usually draw tens of thousands of people to sites in Rome and in the Vatican. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said from midnight Sunday international travelers arriving in the country would need to isolate themselves for 14 days, and foreign cruise ships would be banned for 30 days, given the rise in imported cases. Australia's latest restrictions mirror those announced by neighboring New Zealand on Saturday. Travel bans, airline cutbacks. Donald Trump tests negative for the coronavirus, his doctor said on Saturday, as the U.S. president extended his country travel ban to Britain and Ireland. Last week, Trump had met a Brazilian delegation in which at least one member has since been tested positive. Travel restrictions and bans, and a balloon in global air travel, show further airline cutbacks, with American Airlines planning to cut 75% of international flights through May 6 and ground nearly all east-west body flights. China attended checks on international travelers arriving at Beijing Airport on Sunday, after the number of important new coronavirus infections surpassed locally transmitted cases for the second day in a row. Anyone arriving to Beijing from abroad will be transferred directly to Central Quarantine Facility for 14 days for observation starting March 16, a city government official said. China, where the epidemic began in December, appears to now face a greater risk of new infection from outside its border as it continues to slow the spread of the virus domestically. China had reported 80,984 cases and 3,203 deaths. The country imposed draconian containment policies from January, looking down several major cities. Lockdown, stay home. Spain pushed 47 million inhabitants under partial lockdown on Saturday as part of a 15-day state of emergency to combat the epidemic in Europe's second worst affected country after Italy. Streets in Madrid and Barcelona were deserted on Sunday. A major newspaper carried the front-page grabber implosion with the government promo slogan, "Together we'll stop this virus." Spain has had 193 deaths from the virus and 6,250 cases so far, public broadcaster TVE said on Sunday. France will shut off restaurant and entertainment facilities from Sunday, with its 67 million people were told to stay home after confirmed infections doubled in 72 hours. French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe said the government had no other option after the public health authority said 91 people had died in France, and almost 4,500 were now infected. "We must absolutely limit our movement," he said. However, French local election went ahead. "I am going to vote and keep living my life no matter what. I am not scared of the virus," said a 60-year-old voter, who asked to be identified only as Martin, at a Paris polling station. Britain is preparing to ban mass gatherings and could isolate people aged over 70 for up to 4 months as part of plans to tackle coronavirus, Health Secretary Matt Hancock said. Argentina banned entry to non-residents who have been to any country highly affected by coronavirus in the last 40 days, while Colombia said it would expel 4 Europeans for violating compulsory quarantine protocols, hours after closing its border with Venezuela. Starting Sunday, South Korea began to subject visitors from France, Germany, Britain, Spain, and the Netherlands to stricter border checks, after imposing similar rules for China, Italy, and Iran, which have had major outbreaks. Visitors from those countries now need to download an app to report whether they have symptoms. South Korea has been testing hundreds of thousands of people and tracking potential carriers using cell phone and cellular technology. San Francisco ordered residents to stay home but say it's not a time to panic. Officials in 6 San Francisco Bay Area counties on Monday ordered residents to stay home for all but the most crucial outing until April 7 because of the spread of the coronavirus, but says that despite the draconian measure, it was not a time to panic. San Francisco Metro London Press said grocery stores, banks, and gas stations would remain open, but non-essential businesses, churches, bars, and gyms would close, effective at midnight on Monday. My fellow San Franciscans, what we are asking everyone to do is to remain at home for all but most essential outings for safety and safety those around you, Brett, 45, said at an early afternoon press conference with other local officials. She added, "This is not a time to panic." The order applied to some 6.7 million people living in San Francisco, Santa Clara, San Mateo, Marin, Contra Costa, and Alameda counties. As of Monday morning, San Francisco County reported 40 confirmed cases of COVID-19. 6 people have died of the respiratory illness in California. More than 4,200 cases of coronavirus have been confirmed across the United States, with more than 70 deaths, according to a tracking system by Johns Hopkins University. President Donald Trump issued a new guideline on Monday to help fight the coronavirus, including the recommendation that people avoid social gathering of more than 10 people, discretionary travel, and going to bars, restaurants, and food courts. I hope you like this and just like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching and see you later in the next video.